Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today it's the 1878 Morgan dollar from the United States of America. And these look great. In fact, almost all of them look great. And there's a reason for that, and I'll talk about that in about a minute. If we look at this, we see Lady Liberty facing to the left. We see 7 stars in front of her, 6 stars behind her, 13 for the original 13 colonies. And then we see that she has a hairband type thing up here. It says Liberty on it, and this Liberty is not very good, and that's one of the ways that you decide what condition these are in. We see there's some wheat stalks up here. We see what looks like a maple leaf here, a maple leaf. We see some flowers in her hair, and just a really detailed drawing, and wearing this cap. I think it looks very similar to the Phrygian cap. Just beautiful hair coming down the back here. These coins were first made in 1878, but that doesn't mean that they were released in 1878. The United States Treasury held many of them for about 70-something years and released them in the 1950s. So if you get one of these coins that just looks really, really good, doesn't look like it's been around for 100 years, it's probably because it hasn't been in circulation, maybe not ever. Because a lot of times in the 50s when they released these, people just kept them. What are they worth? Well, if you can get an 8 tail feathers Morgan dollar, they found one so far of an MS-68 it's worth $110,000. If you get a 7 tail feathers Morgan dollar, they found one that's proof-like 7 tail feathers worth about $45,000. One of the things I want to show you on this one is there is a die crack here, and there's a number of die cracks on these that you can find. They don't enhance the value greatly, but it's always kind of nice to see the one between the 8 and the 7 there. That's kind of prophetic because the 8s and 7s are huge for the 1878 coins. Obviously there's 8s and 7s in the year. We tip it up and we see that it is a reeded rim. We tip it onto the back, and we see this says United States of America, in God we trust across the center, and within an eagle in the very middle. The eagle's holding an olive branch and some arrows, and we see this kind of olive wreath going around the outside here. At the bottom it says $1, and if there's a mint mark, it'll be right there above the D and the O. In this particular coin, there is no mint mark. That means it's from Philadelphia. They made them at 3 different mints. They made 9.8 million at the Philadelphia Mint, of which 745,000 have 8 tail feathers. And that's where one of the 8s comes in. So we look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. This one has 7. There's also an 8/7, just like on the front. And that's because some of these had tail feathers that came down underneath. So they had 8 tail feathers and then some more showing underneath. So if you got one of the first 750,000 of these that were made at the Philadelphia Mint, you could get 8 tail feathers. When they figured out that that was ornithologically incorrect and that eagles can't have 8 tail feathers, they changed mid-year, they changed the dies and went to 7 tail feathers. So in the middle of the year, after they'd already made 750,000 with 8 tail feathers, they went to the 7 tail feathers model. This particular coin must have come after that because it only has 7. Now there are also 2 types of coins based on the eagle's chest here, or breast. The 1879 reverse, the full-breasted eagle, and then there's the 1878 reverse, kind of the skinny-breasted eagle. This one right here would be the full-breasted reverse. And so when you start looking at the back, the first thing you look at is to see the tail feathers. The second thing you look at is to look at the eagle's breast to see if it's really kind of wide or if it's skinny. So they made them at the Philadelphia Mint. They made 9.8 million. They also made them at the Carson City Mint, and I'll show you one of those. So look at that CC on there, and we see the CC on there. That's for Carson City. That's in Nevada, and that's where a lot of the silver was mined. These coins are 90% silver and 10% copper. The British pound sterling is 80% silver. So the Carson City Mint, the Philadelphia Mint, and finally these were also made at the San Francisco Mint, and I don't have an S here with me. Some people ask about the New Orleans Mint, and the New Orleans Mint did not start making these with the O on them until 1879. So the next year New Orleans came out, What about the Denver Mint? The Denver Mint didn't make any of these Morgan dollars until 1921. They made in 1 year, 1921. So no D's on here until 1921. No O's on here until 1879. And they did have a CC on here. If you can get the 1878 reverse, the 1878 flat reverse, they found one of those at an MS-67, and those are worth about $60,000. Next, if you get one at the San Francisco Mint, the best San Francisco Mint ones are worth between $40,000 and $60,000, depending on whether they're proof-like. They found two proof-like 68s for $57,500 each. About 5 million or more of the 10 million San Francisco Mint coins were kept until the 1950s. Maybe even more than that, maybe 7 million of the 10 million. So almost all the S's came out in the 1950s, not the 1870s. And then lastly, at the Carson City Mint, they found 8 MS-67s, and those have the CCs on them. And collectors love the CCs down here for Carson City. They found 8 MS-67s, and those are valued at about $72,500. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you have in the comments section.